We need to be using our voice, possibly our feet, but we need to think first. We need to be sure it's nonviolent action that we're taking, but we need to speak up and speak out and not be that silent witness.
BusinessJournalDaily.com 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Who's the only local bank with a mobile mortgage app? Farmers. Download the app to contact your lender, calculate payments, securely scan and upload documents, and check the status of your loan. Fiercely local, fiercely loyal, Farmers.
April 16, 1963. My dear fellow clergymen, while confined here in the Birmingham City Jail, I came across your recent statement calling my present activities unwise and untimely.
We are reading Dr. King's letter from Birmingham Jail, which he wrote 60 years ago. And so we read it 10 years ago and the 50th, and I just felt it was appropriate to read it again today for two reasons. One, because it's the 60th anniversary, but also because I think so many things he said in that letter are so appropriate to today's time. I think that we have more issues that have kind of risen their ugly head, and one of them is, the Voting Rights Act. Much of the pieces of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 have been chiseled away at, removed, and so we have voter suppression. And it's not just in the South. We have voter suppression in Ohio. We have voter suppression in other states in the North. We have, I don't think it's any more killings, but of young black men by our law enforcement officers. I think it's just probably more in our faces. We have a lot more gun violence than we had 10 years ago. And so I think there's just a lot more issues that we need to be aware of. This concern about not wanting to teach the truth is a big issue with me as a history teacher. And I think that, we need to stand up and say what's wrong with telling the good and the bad that happened in this country. It's not opinion, it's facts.
In any nonviolent campaign, there are 4 basic steps. Collection of the facts to determine whether injustices exist. Negotiation, self-purification, and direct action.
I taught history in the Youngstown city schools, and now I take high school students, not just from Youngstown, but high school students on a journey to the civil rights sites in the South. We meet weekly for several hours for 5 months. The students get an independent study history credit for going on Sojourn. And those kids who are reading today, the young people reading today, are part of Sojourn to the Past.
How does one determine whether a law is just or unjust?
So we had a variety of speakers. We had religious leaders, we had a rabbi, we had Christian ministers, Baptists, Methodists, partly religious leaders, because there was 8 religious leaders that wrote the letter to Dr. King saying, wait, don't march, wait. And so that's why the religious leaders. We also had community people. We had judges. We had just average, ordinary citizens. We had representatives of the Jewish Federation. We also had, as I said, some students from Youngstown City Schools reading today, particularly Cheney High School.
Never before have I written so long a letter. I'm afraid it is much too long to take your precious time. I can assure you that it would have been much shorter if I had been writing from a comfortable desk. But what else can one do when he is alone in a narrow jail cell?
I think the key takeaway is a call to action, that we need to be using our voice, possibly our feet, but we need to think first. We need to be sure it's nonviolent action that we're taking, but we need to speak up and speak out and not be that silent witness.
BusinessJournalDaily.com 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Who's the only local bank with a mobile mortgage app? Farmers. Download the app to contact your lender, calculate payments, securely scan and upload documents, and check the status of your loan. Fiercely local, fiercely loyal, Farmers.